Victoria Ashford didn't look up from her phone when her case was called. One leg crossed sharply over the other, thumbnail tapping the screen. She lifted her chin toward the bench like she was checking in at a salon. "Can we speed this up? I have a lunch reservation." She didn't wait for a response. Judge Frank Caprio placed his pen down with the kind of calm that precedes a storm. "Miss Ashford," he said evenly, "this is a courtroom. Put the phone away and address the charges." Victoria sighed. "I'm here. Isn't that enough?" Her attorney, David R. Hale, nearly leapt to his feet. "Your Honor, my client is prepared to pay all applicable fines and resolve this matter immediately." "Mr. Hale," Caprio said without looking at him, "sit down. This court is not a payment portal." The line was soft, but it struck harder than a gavel. Hale slowly returned to his chair. Caprio tapped the pen once. "Officer Dantis, confirm the body cam audio is cued." "Yes, Your Honor." "Good." He glanced briefly at the camera. "If you miss Judge Caprio, you're going to feel this one. Subscribe." The clerk stepped forward with the docket. Docket number 24 to 10,847. Commonwealth versus Victoria Marie Ashford. Charges: unauthorized use of a disabled, van-accessible parking space, destruction of a citation, failure to appear on 3 summons notices, contempt for prior no-show. Original citation issued by Officer Leah Romano, parking enforcement. Wednesday at 9:42 a.m., Caprio leaned forward. "Miss Ashford, did you receive copies of the 3 summons notices mailed to your residence?" "My assistant handles mail," she said, eyes rolling. "That's not what I asked. Did you receive them?" "I guess." "You guess?" Caprio repeated. "Miss Reyes, do we have delivery confirmation?" The clerk nodded. "Yes, Your Honor. 3 certified notices, all signed for at the defendant's address." Caprio flipped a page, his voice unchanged but colder now. "There's an additional notation here. A prior advisory from campus parking enforcement 14 months ago. Miss Ashford blocked a loading zone at Brown University for over an hour during a catering delivery." Victoria shrugged. "I don't remember. Probably nothing. The report states you told the attendant, 'My family donated the library.' Not a criminal matter, but it establishes pattern." Her lawyer tried again, shoulders tense. "Your Honor, my client acknowledges she could have handled this better. She's ready to pay the full fines and move forward." Caprio didn't look at him. "Mr. Hale, paying a fine doesn't teach anything except how to write a check. I want the truth, not a transaction." He turned his attention back to Victoria. "Miss Ashford, walk me through Wednesday morning." Victoria let out a long, annoyed breath. "I parked in front of a pharmacy on Hope Street. I was inside maybe 10 minutes. When I came out, there was a ticket on my windshield." She shook her head like this was all beneath her. "And that's it. I tore it up," Victoria said flatly. "I didn't think it was valid." Judge Caprio blinked once. "You parked in a disabled, van-accessible space. No one was using it. That's not the question. You parked in a space clearly marked with the international symbol of access and diagonal striping." "Correct," Victoria huffed. "Yes, but it was empty. No harm, no foul." Caprio's voice lowered, the tone shifting. "Miss Ashford, harm isn't just collision. It's denial." He lifted a sheet of paper. "Let me read one line from a written statement submitted by Laura Bennett, a mother who arrived at that pharmacy at 9:51 a.m. He read it gently, but the words hit like a hammer. "The ramp could not lower. My daughter missed her therapy window." Victoria waved a dismissive hand. "That's not my fault. She could have parked somewhere else." Her attorney jumped up. "Your Honor, we're drifting into emotional context that isn't material to the citation." "Counselor," Caprio said sharply, "access denial is the material fact. Miss Bennett's daughter uses a wheelchair. She could not access the building because your client blocked the only van-accessible space. That's not emotional. That's factual harm." He turned toward the sidewall. "Officer Romano, please read your narrative into the record." Officer Leah Romano stepped forward, posture straight, voice measured. At 9:42 a.m., I observed a silver luxury sedan parked in a van-accessible space in front of Hope Street Pharmacy. The space was marked with appropriate signage and diagonal access striping. The vehicle displayed no disabled placard or license plate. I issued a citation and placed it on the windshield. At 9:53 a.m., I observed the driver, later identified as Victoria Ashford, exit the pharmacy, remove the citation from the windshield, tear it in half, and discard it on the sidewalk. I approached and informed her of the violation. She stated, "This is ridiculous. Do you know who I am?" When I explained the citation was valid, she said, "Then write another one. My family funds this city." Silence spread through the courtroom. Caprio nodded slowly. "Officer Romano, did you perceive that statement as intimidation?" "Yes, Your Honor." Victoria leaned forward. "Annoyed. It was sarcasm. I was annoyed." "Let's hear it," Caprio said. "Officer Dantas, play the body cam audio, just the relevant exchange." A hiss of static, and then Victoria's voice filled the room. Sharp, entitled, impossible to misinterpret. "My family funds this city." The clip ended. The silence afterward was heavier than before. Caprio folded his hands. "Miss Ashford, your father is Marcus Ashford, founder of Ashford Innovations." "Correct." "Yes. And your family has contributed significantly to Providence, including municipal projects?" "Yes." "So when you said, 'My family funds this city,' what exactly did you intend to convey?" "I meant we support the community." Caprio glanced at Officer Romano. "And how did you interpret it?" "As leverage, Your Honor. An implied consequence for writing the citation." Caprio nodded. "Sarcasm doesn't lower ramps, Miss Ashford." He turned to the clerk. "Miss Reyes, were there any contacts to this court regarding this case prior to today's hearing?" The clerk checked her log. "Yes, Your Honor. 2 incoming calls and 1 voicemail, all from a number registered to Ashford Innovations Donor Relations." "Timestamps, please." First call, 10:18 a.m. Second call, 10:47 a.m. Voicemail left at 11:12 a.m. Additionally, we received an email at 10:52 a.m. from a civic philanthropy liaison referencing a quiet resolution. "Read the email into the record." The clerk complied. Subject, Case 24 to 10,847 Resolution. Body. We understand a citation was issued this morning to a member of the Ashford family. Given the family's long-standing support of municipal initiatives, we'd like to discuss options for resolving this matter quietly and efficiently before it proceeds. Please contact us at your earliest convenience. Attorney Hale stood again. "Your Honor, my client cannot be held responsible for communications from her family foundation. This is irrelevant." "Overruled," Caprio said immediately. "Pressure on process is relevant when properly logged. I'm not alleging criminal conduct. I'm documenting facts." Victoria shifted uncomfortably. "I didn't ask them to call." "Maybe not," Caprio said, "but someone believed it would help." He leaned back, laying out the timeline piece by piece. Citation issued at 9:42 a.m. First call from Ashford Innovations at 10:18. That's 36 minutes. Email sent at 10:52. Someone moved very quickly. He turned to the clerk. "Is Miss Laura Bennett available to give a brief statement?" "She is, Your Honor, by phone." "Put her through." A click, a small crackle, and then a woman's voice, steady, polite, but strained, filled the courtroom speakers. "Thank you, Your Honor," Laura Bennett said. Her voice was steady, but exhaustion threaded through every syllable. "My daughter has cerebral palsy. She receives physical therapy twice a week. Wednesday was an important session. We arrived at the pharmacy at 9:51 to pick up her medication before therapy. The van-accessible space was blocked. I couldn't lower the side entry ramp. By the time we found another spot and got inside, we'd missed the first 20 minutes. The therapist had to reschedule. Access is infrastructure. It's not optional." A faint mutter slipped from Victoria's mouth. Caprio's gaze sharpened. Miss Ashford, if you have something to say it clearly. It was 10 minutes, she snapped. 10 minutes is a therapy window, Miss Ashford. The phone line clicked off. Caprio set the document aside. Miss Reyes, he said, holding up another packet. These are the 3 summons notices sent to Miss Ashford's residence. Confirmed delivery. Yes, Your Honor. First notice mailed October 2nd, signed for October 4th. Second notice mailed October 16th, signed for October 18th. Final notice mailed October 30th, signed for November 1st. All 3 were signed by V. Ashford, or per V. Ashford. Victoria's jaw tightened. My assistant signs things. But you knew about them. Correct. I don't read every piece of mail. 3 certified notices over 4 weeks is not neglected paperwork, Miss Ashford. It is pattern. Her attorney rose again, this time with far less confidence. Your Honor, given the Ashford family's role in municipal philanthropy, we request that the remainder of this hearing be handled off the public calendar. Public proceedings could create unnecessary complications. Mr. Hale, Caprio interrupted. Sunlight is fairness. We're staying on the record. He turned to Victoria. I'm going to ask you 3 yes or no questions. Did you park in a disabled, van-accessible space without authorization? Yes. Did you tear up the citation and discard it? Yes. Did you ignore 3 summons notices? A long hesitation. I didn't think they were serious. That is not a no. Did you ignore them? Yes. Your Honor, this is absurd. Victoria's voice rose, brittle and furious. My family has donated millions to this city. We fund programs. We support infrastructure. You wouldn't have half your budget without us. Miss Ashford, they should buy us some respect. Do you know how much my father contributes to municipal operations? Your salary is paid by taxpayers like us. Her attorney stood abruptly. Your Honor, my client is... I own you. The words shot from Victoria's mouth before her brain caught them. Then time stopped. 5 seconds. 7, 10, 12. That was the moment her money ran out of jurisdiction. Victoria froze, horror crawling across her face. Her attorney paled. Officer Romano didn't blink. The courtroom felt suddenly airless. Caprio finally spoke, quiet but unmistakably firm. Miss Ashford, you own nothing in this courtroom. Not the process. Not the outcome. Not me. He lifted the case file. Here is my finding. Every head in the courtroom lifted. Silence thickened again. The evidence supports all 4 charges. Officer Romano's narrative is credible and corroborated by body cam audio, fixed lot photographs, the torn citation, 3 delivery confirmed summons notices, and the rapid timeline of foundation calls and emails. He held her eyes. You parked in a disabled, van-accessible space, denying critical access to a family with mobility needs. You destroyed a citation. You ignored 3 summons notices. You invoked your family's financial contributions in a manner Officer Romano reasonably interpreted as intimidation. Caprio closed the folder gently. This court does not weigh cases based on wealth, donations, or foundation influence. Borrowed money is not borrowed authority. Your family's philanthropy does not grant you ownership of public process. Privilege does not erase harm. And access, he said, tapping the desk lightly, is not for auction. He turned to the final page. I also note your prior advisory from campus parking enforcement. You were told once that loading zones matter. You chose not to internalize that lesson. Consequences teach what privilege hides. He looked up. The base fines total $750. Victoria exhales. Not defiant this time, measured, practiced only by repetition, not privilege. Caprio folds his hands. That's accountability, Miss Ashford. Not performance. Not public relations. Accountability. He glances down at the service logs, the signatures, the timestamps, the notes from supervisors, the PSAs, the reflection. 900 words, handwritten, unvarnished, unmarketed. Caprio nods once. Miss Reyes, Confirm the hours? Yes, Your Honor. 150 hours logged. All verified. No discrepancies. Confirm the PSA approvals? Approved on second submission, Your Honor. Distributed to the school network last Tuesday. Confirm the ethics module certification? Filed and verified. Caprio closes the folder. Miss Ashford, you kept your side of the contract. So I'll keep mine. He signs the remission order. $400 stayed. You owe $350. Payable today. Once paid, this matter is closed. Victoria nods. Yes, Your Honor. Caprio looks at her, no anger, no indulgence. Just the gravity of someone who has spent decades watching people learn lessons at different speeds. I'm going to tell you something, he says. Not as punishment, as memory. He leans back slightly. Privilege can insulate you from consequences, but it also insulates you from wisdom. Most people learn humility because the world teaches it early. People with resources often learn it late. The lesson is the same. The timing is different. He gestures toward her completed logs. You learned it. Keep learning it. Victoria doesn't look away this time. Yes, Your Honor. Caprio taps his pen once, the same way he did the day she claimed she owned him. You may step down. Victoria gathers her things. No phone in hand. No entourage waiting. She walks toward the exit, quietly, almost carefully, as though aware the floor belongs to others too. As the door closes behind her, Caprio looks at the clerk. Next case. The gavel never needed to fall. The lesson already had. Victoria lowers her eyes. Both of those things were wrong. Caprio waits. What did you learn from Officer Romano? That public servants aren't employees of my family's foundation, Victoria says. No hesitation this time. They serve the community, not individual donors. When I used our donations as leverage, I tried to corrupt that. And from the Mobility Access Coalition? That accessible parking isn't about convenience, she says. It's about math, ramp angles, clearance widths, transfer space. When I blocked that space for 10 minutes, I didn't just delay someone. I denied them access to medication. Time is infrastructure. Caprio nods slowly. You stopped trying to own the system and started learning to respect it. He signs the compliance form. I'm remitting $350 of the stayed portion. You still owe $400 total, payable in installments over 6 months. The court will monitor compliance. And as a reminder, Miss Ashford, access is not for auction. Thank you, Your Honor. Don't thank me, Caprio says. Thank the people who taught you what I couldn't. 5 months later, the policies rooted from her case begin shaping the system. The court publishes its first ex parte influence log. 3 donor-related contact attempts appear in the first month alone. All are documented and handled transparently under the new firewall protocol. Staff report quietly but sincerely that the disclosure requirements make them feel protected. The donor contact firewall is adopted across all municipal courts. Any case involving a major donor family is flagged automatically. Supervisor co-sign protocols roll out without incident. Disabled Bay tow first escalation launches citywide. Average clearance time for unauthorized vehicles in van-accessible spaces drops by 47%. Complaints from wheelchair users fall sharply. The municipal PSA series debuts, featuring testimony from families who depend on accessible infrastructure every day. Victoria's recordings are included, distributed to 31 schools. They don't go viral. They don't trend, but they're used. And sometimes that's the point. A parent emails the court. My son watched the PSA about van-accessible spaces and asked why people block them. We had a real conversation about access being a right, not a privilege. Thank you. Friday afternoon, Judge Frank Caprio finishes his last case of the week. The courtroom empties. Papers are stacked. The bench is quiet. Before leaving, he writes a single line on a note card and pins it to the bulletin board behind him. Public offices are not for sale. They are for service. He thinks of Victoria Ashford, of Officer Romano, standing in a cracked parking lot with someone's wealth thrown in her face. of Laura Bennett's daughter, waiting in the van while therapy minutes slipped away. Caprio turns off the light, locks the door, walks into the hallway, leaving only the principal behind. Dramatization for storytelling and education, not legal advice or reporting.